Huge shout out to the Noti Gang. If you guys will get featured in the next video, all you guys have to do is like this video, subscribe, post notifications on, and leave a nice comment with your gamer tag. I'm gonna give you guys the top 5 SMGs in Warzone right now, and you guys are gonna love these ones. Trust me. I have a really good one that's gonna be for solo, but I gotta give you guys all of the main ones first. So we're gonna start out with the H4 Blixen being the highest TTK and highest damage. So this is the H4 Blixen in case you guys don't know. And I'm going to start out with recoil booster for the increased fire rate. Now if you don't have recoil booster, you can definitely use mercury silencer until you actually get recoil booster, but this is the best option. So you're going to throw on recoil booster for the increased fire rate and slight reduction of accuracy. Move on to the Janssen 9-inch RMK for the damage range, and bullet velocity. You get a reduction of recoil control and accuracy, a reduction of hipfire accuracy, and a reduction of headshot damage, but that's not something you're going to notice in the first place. Now if you don't have this unlocked, you can use the Carlson 17-inch custom for now, just until you get everything unlocked. Now it'll give you aim, walking, movement speed, firing visibility to enemies, and horizontal recoil control. You'll get a reduction of bullet velocity and vertical recoil control, but this won't kick as much as this. And I mean, you could just throw on lengthen and it'll take care of that. Now if you have everything unlocked and you want no recoil on this gun and you don't mind a lower TTK, then put on the Bergstrom 17-inch F3. You'll get recoil control and accuracy, bullet velocity, and flinch resistance, and you can actually throw on subsonic. That way since you don't have to worry about the bullet velocity issue, you can throw on subsonic and you won't show up on the minimap. But this is the best option overall. Throw on slate reflector. I mean, it's personal preference. If you want to use niter, completely up to you. If you want to use the Magnus CZA, so it's like the MP40, then that's fine too. Plus you'll get an increase of aim down sight speed. Throw on the remove stock for movement speed, sprint to fire speed, and aim down sight speed. You'll get a reduction of flinch resistance, recoil control, accuracy, and aim walking steadiness. Move on to fleet. Now with fleet, you'll get weapon swap quickness and movement speed. I don't really see a better option unless you want to use steady for ADS firing move speed. Like if you want to be a strafing machine, then it's completely up to you. You can throw on steady, but I think it's already pretty good strafing wise, so I think fleet is the best option. Throw on quick for the sprint speed. Throw on grooved grip for aim, walking, movement speed, horizontal recoil control, ADS firing move speed, and aiming stability. You get a reduction of sprint to fire speed and a reduction of aim down sight speed. Throw on the 7.62 Gorenko 54 round mags for the recoil control and accuracy, increased torso damage, and magazine ammo capacity. You'll get a reduction of movement speed, bullet penetration, bullet velocity, and range, and aim down sight speed. But this is the best option considering you get increased torso damage, which is where most of your bullets are going to go in the first place, unless you're doing the thing. I threw on subsonic just because there's no minimap ping, but if you want more, I mean, bullet velocity, you can use lengthen. Completely up to you, but I choose subsonic. Throw on the SG98 compact for aim, walking, movement speed, and reduced scope sway and gun bob. And this is the best build for the H4 Blixen. Moving on, we're using the current meta that a bunch of pros are using right now, and that is the Arma Guerra. This SMG is absolutely incredible, and I highly suggest using everything on here. Throw on the recoil booster for the increased fire rate and slight reduction of accuracy. Now, in my opinion, you can throw on strife compensator if you don't have recoil booster unlocked, but honestly, you should just get recoil booster unlocked. So completely up to you. Throw on the body 570mm precision. If you don't have this unlocked yet, but let me explain this, it's highly accurate and controllable. Headshot damage increase, bullet velocity increase. You get a reduction of body damage and sprint to fire speed. With the amount of fire rate, you're not even going to notice the reduction of body damage. Plus the headshot damage is ridiculous. Like I didn't expect it, but it's actually insane. Now if you don't have this, then I mean maybe you can use the body 315 C2. That's what I was using for a long time, and then you're just gonna have to change the class up a little bit. Like I mean, not that much, just to compensate for the recoil. Throw on the slate reflector. If you don't have slate reflector, well, you should have slate reflector. You can just use the regular sight, and if you don't want to use slate reflector, you can use the niter model. Throw on the Emerito TA skeletal for aim, walking, movement speed, aim, walking, steadiness, aim down sight speed, and initial fire and recoil. You get a reduction of sprint to fire speed, accuracy, and recoil during sustained fire, and hip fire accuracy, but that's completely fine. If you don't have that unlocked, you can use the Emerito SA folding for the increased sprint to fire speed and movement speed with a reduction of initial fire and recoil. I throw on steady for 80 fire and movement speed. If you don't want to use that, you can use sleight of hand. It's up to you though. I'm trying to make an insane strafe build that's also incredibly fast TTK. Now, throw on quick for sprint speed. Throw on grooved grip for aim, walking, movement speed, horizontal recoil control, ADS firing move speed, and aiming stability. You get a reduction of sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed. Throw on 9mm 60 round mags. Everything else kind of has a con that's not worth it. Like this doesn't have enough bullets. The short has less damage, and the 7.2 has less fire rate. So not really the best option. I think the 60 round is the overall best option, so make sure you choose this. Throw on subsonic for no minimap ping and firing visibility to enemies, and SG98 compact for aim, walking, movement speed, and reduced scope sway and gun bob. Next, we're going with the Cold War players, and we're giving you guys a classic, the good old MAC-10. This thing is still incredible. Throw on the agency suppressor for the sound suppression, vertical recoil control, bullet velocity, and effective damage range. Get a reduction in aim down sight speed, aim walking steadiness, and aiming stability. Move on to the 5.9 task force for the effective damage range, bullet velocity, and strafe speed. You get a reduction of vertical and horizontal recoil control. Throw on the Tiger Team Spotlight for movement speed and aim walking movement speed. You get a reduction of flashlight visibility to enemies. I mean, they can see the flashlight. That's no big deal. And a reduction of aiming stability. That's something you're not even going to notice in the first place. Throw on the Raider stock for ADS firing move speed and aim walking movement speed, sprint to fire time. That's absolutely optimal. I don't think there's really a better option. See, I tried to see no stock, but it's just not as good as the Raider stock. The only con is you get a reduction of hip fire accuracy, which, I mean, who cares? You're still going to be able to hip fire this thing like crazy. And the Stanek 53 round drum for ammo capacity, you want 53 rounds. I don't really see a better option. If you want to use a 43, you're going to have no cons, but with this you get an aim down sight time penalty. It's not really a big deal. Next, we're using the melt machine, the PPSH 41 from Vanguard. This thing can absolutely shred multiple enemies at once, and trust me, it's the best choice if you're taking on 2 or 3 people with plenty of bullets. Now, put on the recoil booster for the increased fire rate and slight reduction of accuracy. Throw on the 230 BO3P for the hip fire accuracy, hip fire recoil recovery, and fire rate. The only reason I have this on here is because it's actually faster. Plus, you'll be able to hip fire along with ADS, so it's a fantastic option. Throw on the slate reflector. If you don't want to use slate reflector, you can use a niter or just no sight. Throw on the skeletal for sprint to fire speed and movement speed. You're going to get a reduction of initial firing recoil. Throw on tight grip for accuracy and recoil during sustained fire. If you want to use steady for ADS, then it's completely up to you, but you're going to have to switch the build around a little bit. Throw on quick for sprint speed. Now throw on polymer grip for flinch resistance and accuracy and recoil during sustained fire. If you want to use hatch, completely up to you, but you're not going to get that perk of accuracy and recoil during sustained fire, which is going to be great for the PPSH. Throw on the 8mm Nambu 71 round mags for recoil control and accuracy, fire rate, magazine ammo capacity. You get a reduction in bullet velocity and range, movement speed, bullet penetration, and damage. Throw on subsonic, so no mini-map ping. It's going to be amazing. Throw M19 30 stripe angle for horizontal recoil control, slight reduction of aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. And this is the best PPSH 41 for Vanguard. This thing is absolutely insane, and it is the Type 100 from Vanguard. Now, you're going to throw on the recoil booster for the increased fire rate and slight reduction of accuracy. Throw on the Warubachi 135mm rapid for the fire rate and damage range. Make sure this is the one you put on. If you throw on any other one, it's not really going to be a good option. This is the best choice for the increased fire rate and damage range. Get a reduction of accuracy and damage plus aim down sight time, but trust me, don't even worry about that. Throw on the slate reflector. I mean, if you don't want to use that, you can use the niter, and the niter might be bulkier, so it actually might be a better choice, but I like slate reflector. Throw on the Warubachi skeletal for sprint to fire speed and movement speed. You get a slight reduction of initial firing recoil. Throw on acrobatic for movement speed. I mean, if you're not a fan of that, then you can throw on fleet so you can get weapon swap quickness, but it's whatever you want to use. Throw on quick for sprint speed. Throw on hatch grip for recoil control and flinch resistance. If you don't want to use that, you can use a polymer grip and it'll be just as good. Accuracy and recoil during sustained fire and flinch resistance. Throw on the 30-inch Russian short 36 round mags for damage range, damage, bullet penetration, and bullet velocity. You're going to get a reduction of fire rate, but trust me, it's not even going to be noticeable. This thing's going to melt in like 2-3 bullets. Throw on recoil control. Well, it's going to give you a reduction of recoil control, movement speed, and aim down sight speed along with the fire rate, but like I said, not even noticeable. If you don't want as much of the sacrifice, you can use the Curse 48 round drum, but I think that this does more damage. I think it's going to be much more worth it than the 48. That's why this is actually best for solo. Throw on lengthened for the increased bullet velocity, M19 30 stripe angled for horizontal recoil control, and this is the best Type 100 class. Please try it out.